spot. Okie dokie. We're going to get back to work on this eagle this evening, 7 p.m. here. And I figured give him about another hour and a half or so. And I should have all the chainsaw work done. It actually shouldn't take that long, but you never know. I'm halfway through a 16-ounce can of beer, so I can, listen to some crazy people. Maybe I'll pass out in a minute. Okie doke. All right, I'm gonna start with the loud and proud, powerful saw I got here. It's pretty good though. I did a lot of marks, some things I want to change. I'm gonna do the wing feathers first and go from there. That was the first thing I wanted to change about it as I got going. And if anybody comes in here and asks how long I've been working on it, just tell them, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And then tell them, no, you mean the carving? No, he's been working on that carving since last year. Every time you see this live, the guy's doing the same thing. That's what I would tell him anyway. All right, let's get started. muffler's rattling. Huh. I guess that don't happen every day, does it? Let's see if I got... Yeah, I do. I'm just glad I seen it. And it was coming loose. But anyway, I'm just glad I just happened to look and seen it. Was rattling around. And that's not the first time. I had a bolt snap off. I don't know if it was too tight from the factory. And I didn't do anything about it. So I just took that and tightened it up. Had that there, apparently, because they knew that's a problem for them, right? I don't know. Anyway, hit the like button. If you had a heart at all, you would. And I'll keep going. That was no problem at all to fix. For the moment, I'm sure it'll come loose again. And we'll retighten it, because apparently, for some reason, that seems to be an issue with these. Everything has an issue. I have all kinds of issues. I'm fat, I'm ugly, I got red hair. I mean, I got the world against me right there, you know what I mean? I might just finish that can. I don't know. It's getting kind of warm. We'll find out. Give this baby some lines. Start pulling them through. And I'm pretty sure these block out here, or straight line here, get cut from there. Let me double check that. Look at this one I got here. I'm using it as a model. And yeah. All right. Let's do it. Bam! Shazam! Shazam! Somewhat rescue that. That's not bad. But yeah, I screwed it up in the start. But we'll keep going. Hey, see that? That's a like button. Hit the like button. All right. That one's out of fuel. Okay. I can hear it coming. I go with this one. It's always wanting to be a headache. I knew that was coming. You clunker. Tail feathers out. Have to get down there and do that. It's a little bit on one side and a little bit on the other side. But anyway, I think that looks pretty good, really. Get that turned a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Wing details coming out pretty decent. Can't complain about that. Next thing after the wing detail is I'm going to cut down the beak some more. Try to take it to a little bit closer to realistic size. But anyway, we'll keep going. Be sure to hit the like if you haven't already. Yeah, this thing's just squirrely. that down to accomplish what I really want to accomplish, which is to give that a lot more. Man, weight was all to the one side. But to give that, give them tail feathers some more rib in there. So I really can't do it the way it is, but I am going to put the tail feathers inside and start working on the head. What do you think, Mr. Eagle Head? Huh? You got an opinion? I ain't saying nothing. You got a saw. I still got this side. Start working on his head, and I'm gonna put that right up against, turn it that way, you can see the back detail, and I'm gonna put that right up against there since I don't have to be anywhere near the camera. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Hope y'all doing pretty good. If you haven't hit the like already, be sure and hit it. I'm gonna cut down that bill quite a bit. Hey, John, Kevin, what's going on? Cheech, Ray, glad to see you guys. Michael S, super fan. Mark tries the carve, just tried his first bear, came out pretty cute. Heck yeah. All right. With eagles, this has always been a scary part to me, cutting that thing down smaller and smaller and smaller, closer and closer to realistic. And so I'm always freaked out about this. But this is gonna be like that. We'll stick an old cigarette butt or something in there and call it a day. What do you think? No? Now he just looks like he's got an open mouth. I don't know what the problem is. Man, if only I could get a Kardashian here to see if they approve of that nose job. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's looking all right. Hope everybody's doing pretty good. Glad to see y'all in there. Heck, what happened? I get a bad. Oh, it's 41. I ain't so bad. Okay, it looked like it said there was 11 people watching, and I thought, well, maybe my signal's just horrible. I don't know. Hard to say. And it could be. I don't know. I know that sometimes the boss lady steals my sound. Let's see. Hey, I appreciate that, Perry. Hey, Chucker, what's going on? Heck yeah, I should be done here about 8:30. I'm not going to go any later than 8:30 my time, Chucker, and that's about 40 minutes. If you're going live tonight, I ain't going to be much longer. Time to give this guy some body here. I thought about taking, and yeah, I probably will. I got a mark here to take out about a quarter right there, just to kind of bring the head out a little bit more. Because the one side of the profile that I don't like is the chest. I think everything else came out pretty good. I marked this out because I wanted to cut this thing so that the wings look more spread open. I forgot all about that. It's kind of a, at this point, maybe seems like a silly move, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to split that open and see how it goes. It just makes it look like the wings are open, and actually, I'll tell you what, I do like the way I do the head enough. Turn that around because I can at least do the head and I can do the top of the wings. And you can at least see what I'm doing. How about that? There we go. I ought to move back in the light. I might make that stand out a little better. I don't know. We'll find out. Let me take this up there. A little closer. Get a little closer. Don't be shy. All right. There we go. Okay. Let's do it. Ruh-roh, somebody give me $1.20. That's pretty awesome. Thank you, whoever did that. tell you, hands down, that is my favorite eagle head that I've made so far. Beak's probably a little long, but I mean, it's thinned down quite a bit. And the only thing I don't really like is the chest. It's not bad, but it's not good. So they have kind of a C feather, but man, that's a lot of work. I don't know. Let's see if I can't. I was trying to think of some way I could try to imitate that. And so far I haven't found All right. I'm going to go back to the other one again to finish this. But pretty much got it. I want to cut the feet down. And then it needs some lines for feathers inside of here. And so I'm going to give it that yet. So that's the things I got left to do this thing. And then I don't know. Right now I got about a little less than 15 minutes. Or a little less than 18 minutes. So I ain't going to kill it. I told Chucker I was going to be done at 8:30. That way if he lives, we can watch him. So let me dump some fuel in this baby real quick. See if I can't cut them toes down and put them lines in. I can't think that'd take me too much longer. Anyway, let's figure out. Might as well check. Chucker, you gonna carve at 8:30 or so? You getting ready? Let's see what he's got. No, I don't think I'm going live, Bear. Okay, I'll keep going. Hey, Hilda Jones. Well, I love your comments, Hilda. Just so you know. Sometimes they might sound goofy, but I love them. I just want you to know that. Never feel like you're a bother to me. I enjoy your comments. All right. Heck yeah. Getting this thing going. Set that wrench back over in the hole so I don't lose it. I got 3 of them hanging there. I don't know how I'm going to lose it, but I can. A lot of tough things happen when you're dumb. I'm pretty happy with the dude as far as the chainsaw work goes. The only thing I'm going to do yet is sign it and try to get this tail a little bit better as far as having some shape. only mark the stuff I really, really like. I don't know why. I know that's not right, but that's the way I am. So, hey, that dude looks good. He's almost like my pet eagle. He's albino version. All right. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put the eyes in. I've got marks for that, but I want to give some extra marks so that I don't get too far off. 1 minute. So I have astigmatism. That's pretty daggone bad. And I screw up a lot of stuff. I can't hang pictures out of level. I mean, it's a mess. And then my eyes will come out wonky because, because I'm dumb. But besides that, let's see. See, I think I'm screwing this up already. I don't really have any choice but it to be right there. Right there. Which is what I got. Okay. All right. Let's get on some eye tools. Let's play around with this and see what we got. See what's going to fit the best. I don't mind this color I got on. In here, actually. Is that the same one I used on that one? No, it's smaller. That might be a bit big. It might not be. I don't know. I mean, they're not exactly small eyes either. So. Okay. Where's my burrs at? Eye cutters. Where are my eye cutters? Oh, they're in the eye cutter box. I thought I put them in with my cuts all bits, but I think it should be the next size down from the one I just had, or that I have in there, and that would be this one. But on the other hand, that just seems a little small to me. But I think if I go with this one and I don't like it, I can always go bigger. I can't put material back, but I can take more off. So let's do that. If I don't like it, then I can change it. I'm also happy to have these two. Every eagle I've made up to this point's got plastic eyes. And so this will be the first one that I made that doesn't have them. And so I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is that right? Yeah, I don't think I've ever done an eagle that didn't have plastic eyes. And ironically, when we was at Dolls, you could see Dolls in Gatlinburg on one of our videos. And even Dolls, the guys that were making eagles there, they weren't carving their eyes. They were just drilling holes and putting plastic ones in. And that's the guys that everybody's looking up to make them like theirs. But I don't know. I knew this is what this is going to get. And actually, the eagle over here I've been using for a model, I think he had, looked to me like he had some taxidermy eyes that came with their own eyelids and everything. The way the groove was cut and there was nothing there, it looked to me like they were using a taxidermy eye, and that would have came with an eyelid and the whole assembly, the way it was routed out. All right, I'm gonna do that then. Since Checker ain't getting on, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna sand that nose down and give us some nose holes. Okay, start with. Now looking at that, I'll have to dig out in front of it some, but that looks pretty good. As long as I can hit that line up with that line as best as possible. And the height, double check the height. So that'll hit right like that. Heck yeah. A little closer. Yeah, the only thing I'm going to have to do is, and actually I'm going to have to do it in both of them, is I'm going to have to take a burr and clean that out in the front. And that's no shock. I mean, but they look good. They're lined up. They're the same. They look level. Yeah, I'm just really happy with these. Wish I'd have had these a long time ago. You can paint them. I painted the ones on this one over here that I'm using for a model. Keep them out good. So, do I want to do that first? Or do I want to do the nose? I think I want to do that first. That way you get that eagle is looking at you thing out of this a little bit better. Let's dig that out. And then I'll sand it. Oh, how about that? Tool is already on. How often does that happen? Take me out from that. Yeah, that thing might burn all that fuzzies off and stuff. That looks pretty good. Yeah. All right. Let me get my RZ and I'm going to sand that beak. I think that looks nice now. Maybe a little bit more on this side. That side you can see good. Yeah, I want to take a little bit more out on this side. Yeah, I really probably should have had the RZ on for this thing, but it just don't put out that much dust on the other hand. So it's kind of a catch. I don't know. Let's see what we got here. 827. Haven't even made it to the thing there. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Creation Dust 777. Heck yeah, glad to see you in there. Let's see. Ask a favor. Get Mike some subs kind of things. Hear me out. Okay, here goes the pitch. Let's see. I'm coming up on 6. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't want to get past that number pretty quick, too. Just the thought of it. But I do remember being there. How about that? And 777. I remember all of them. Mike, you just take what you can get. Oh, man, I'm telling you. Hear me out. That's when you know. That's when you know. There's a big old screw coming. When the guy says, hear me out. That's right before you get it broke off in you. Hear me out. Hear me out. This one time in band camp, all that kind of stuff. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Okay, let's see what you had to say, Mike. I am curious now. Let's see. I swear, just get me to 667 and I'll shut up. Well, how close are you to 666? Let's see. Mike is making stuff. Check his channel. Subscribe. Yeah. Heck yeah. Anybody that's in there. There ain't a lot of people in there tonight, though. I mean, it's nothing like this morning, man. I'll tell you. This morning, like wow, man. It's killing it. It was one of my best lives as far as views. I had one that was 70 once. This one was 60 or 61, something like that. It was really good. Okey-dokey. You know it's going to be good when you're in there carving and you look at the thing and it says there's 500 people watching you. You know that's going to be a pretty big live. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I think they're happy with this. Beaks is alright. It's good. Hey, this disc one they're worn out, and this one's worn out. I was using it to dress a bar last night, and that just pretty much finished it off. But anyway, it kind of burns the wood depending on what direction it's going. But as far as I'm concerned, that's the best eagle I've ever made. I'm pretty happy with it. Just the feet. Really, that's it. That's all I got to do is the feet. And the way I've seen that is, you got your talons, which consists of the toes, and then there's a big depth in there for the claws to be in. And I'm not sure if I want to jack with that tonight. I don't know. If I don't, then I won't finish this bird. Oh, no, I got a lot to do to this bird, actually, because I'm going to pull all the lines through the feathers like that. I'll do a demo. I'm not going to make y'all sit through that. I'm going to finish this bird. You guys won't see me again until Friday night, next Friday night. But I'm going to end up finishing this bird on my own. But when I get it done, I'll post a picture of it. But I'll pull a few of these lines just so you can see what I mean. This is what it's going to take to finish it. And it'll take a while. Anyway, that's what I mean. And that's going to take a minute. That's not fast. That and the toes. And so I figured I'll probably have another hour and a half if I take my time on the toes or whatever. But I mean, it's dark in the woods. There, I'll show you. I mean, it's dark. Let's go over and look. I mean, the camera lights it up. It's a lot darker. It's a lot darker in here than this phone makes it look like. It's pretty dark back in there. Yeah, let's see what we got. Mike, all right, buddy, we'll see you. All right, hey, we appreciate that, Susie. Let's see, Mike, you should see my eagle. Looks like a penguin. Okay, I'm not going to comment on that. If you think it looks like a penguin, just paint it like a penguin, Chucker. That'll fix everything. I've done that too. Start out to make something, and ironically, I started out to make something. I don't even remember what I started out to make. Probably a cardinal. And I ended up making a penguin because I did something to the arms. And I've made 2 penguins and sold them both with no problem. Couldn't explain it, but that's the way it goes. Okay, one more time. Check this guy out. Not this guy. You can already see me. Here's the side view. Let me go this way. Front view. Still got a big old honker on him. And if I look at it like that, it looks like the eyes are lower. Or this eye is lower. And it could be. I don't know. If it is, I'm going to have to just leave it like that. But so far, that's the best eagle I've ever made. He's still just flat enough on top of the head. On a calm day, you could probably get a beer can set there. I don't know. And that's really important, part of the chainsaw car. Hey, look at there. I missed that there. Uh-oh. Well, you falling? I don't know. He was getting kind of excited. I don't know. But anyhow, so I'm going to finish this dude up through the week this week. And got some other things I want to do. Just practice some stuff on my own. And then I'll be back Friday night. That is my plan. All right, guys. We'll catch you this week. Don't forget about Creation Dust 777. Best chainsaw carver in the world. Will be on Wednesday. He's been doing between 2 and about 20 after 2. And check him out. And then we'll catch y'all back Friday. And we'll catch you on other people's lives. Come back when you can stay.